One of the first things that Michael said about this film was that he wanted to surprise people with Transformers. He wanted to show characters as tall as a skyscraper. He wanted to show characters as infinitesimally small as a molecule. He wanted to go from nanotechnology to combiner technology and just give the sense that there's a whole universe of potential Transformer characters. They come in all shapes and sizes.
Hasbro's been a great partner creatively in every other way, because no matter how much we may feel like we know about the mythology and the lore and the characters, there's so much that we don't know.
Hasbro comes at it from certainly a license holder, but beyond that, we're lore experts. So really our tact is that we know the characters, we know what they represent, we know all the moments in the past that would bring back feelings for our fans, and we approach it that way.
Once we were looking for story ideas, plot notions, we always went back to the Transformers universe and made sure to choose something from the existing mythology rather than invent something out of whole cloth. It's just too rich, and there's just too much there.
Usually the whole process starts with them, throwing ideas at us and saying, here's something from the mythology, are you interested in this? And they'll just stimulate sort of conversation in the beginning, and then as we start evolving it ourselves, we'll give them our ideas, they'll run them around their Transformers group, and they'll come back to us and say, this is consistent with the mythology, this isn't consistent with the mythology.
I think we do look back to Generation 1 as kind of the essence of where the brand began. So wherever we can, I think we take from the original series, whether it's character look or a character personality. We always do kind of keep in mind what was established at the beginning.
Most importantly, we would always want to make sure that we didn't breach any of the rules or boundaries of that universe that they'd worked so hard to create. So, but they always had character ideas, they always had set piece ideas, they created a lot of artwork for us to inspire the creative process as we were trying to even outline the script. They would come out and make presentations to us and say, think about this and think about that, and you don't know about this, but we pulled this out of the archives, this would be great for this story, and that kind of stimulation is what yielded this latest script.
On the first movie, I think our grand total of robots was something like 11 or 12. And on this one, I honestly don't even know. I haven't done a count, but it's easily triple that.
I would say roughly, including some of the minor characters like the kitchen bots and other little miscellaneous things that transform, 47 altogether, maybe 50-something altogether.
Some of the new Autobots that we meet in the movie include RC, who is a combiner Autobot comprised of 3 motorcycles who transform into a single fighting robot figure. We meet a character called Sideswipe, which is another Autobot who's sort of a sword-wielding speed skater. We meet the twins.
The twins have 2 different modes. They have the ice cream truck mode, and then they have the 2 more, we call them smart cars, because originally we were thinking about doing them as smart cars. That's kind of always stuck, but they're smaller commuter cars that beat in the tracks. So those 2 characters have 4 robot designs altogether for both of the 2 of them. 2 is ice cream truck and 2 is the beat in the tracks.
Michael, he was very focused on the twins. He really saw them as characters, and in a way they're the children of the Autobots.
They are kind of the bumbling Tweedledee and Tweedledum characters of the Autobots. When Optimus issued his call out to all the Autobots, their safe haven on Earth, I think the twins were probably the last character that he was hoping would show up. Some of the new Decepticons we see in this movie include the Fallen, of course.
One obscure character whose name was the Fallen had this sort of biblical scope to him, and it was a great traitorous character, almost like Judas. That's how we referred to him. And it was one of the original 13 Transformers ever, brought to life, and he betrayed the other 12.
The Fallen was really, in many ways, he's the father of the Decepticons. He was sort of the first one to question the honorable mythology of the Autobots, and that really created the 2 sects within the race of Transformers.
And we knew that was just a really juicy, evil, dark notion. And being one of the originals, he had a different set of powers than a normal Transformer. He had more power. And the writers ended up running with that, and that character ended up shaping a lot of what we did in the movie.
We meet Soundwave in this movie, who is the Decepticons' communications specialist.
We do come up with new characters and create different forms, but we like to draw back and at least pull out some elements of what we had back in the 80s. So some characters, there's a really direct link with its original character from the 80s, and some, you know, are a little bit loose that they've had to maybe evolve a little bit more over time. Soundwave's a good example of just a tape player doesn't make sense in today's world, so we've kind of tried to continue to evolve Soundwave as a character over time to have a different alternate form that is more relevant for that particular series or movie.
We meet Ravage, who is a lethal killing machine, who takes a more kind of animal form. And we meet this character, Jetfire.
The SR-71 Jetfire character was a really interesting design brief, because it was, how do you take a really cool, legendary spy plane, which is, you know, other than top secret planes that supposedly don't exist, is still the fastest plane ever built, and make it into an old man? It's like a complete contrast in terms of the design requirements. So, you know, how do you make him look like he's crouching or he's hunched over in a way that it looks like a hunch, rather than as just that he's some sort of thing that's lurching and coming to get you. So we has versions of it where he looked too predatory, for example, and you had to, you know, sort of put a, you know, twist in his torso and wither one arm and do some things to him to make him look more like an old man. And some of those things got into the final design, some didn't.
One of the other Decepticons we meet, or rather several of the other Decepticons, is Devastator, who is comprised of a number of construction vehicles which form together to create a truly fearsome adversary.
One of the early things we obviously wanted to do for Michael is we presented several ideas that could ratchet up the action, bring in certain characters that could, you know, be very impactful in movie 2. Devastator's case, that's bigger, you know. We had big robots, how about really big robots?
GM provided us with a lot of 3D files for the cars, so the same CAD data that they used to prototype the cars we had. And we actually had a company, DST, out in Detroit. We'd hand off those files to him, and he would actually build the cars, because we'll need at least 2 of every car, so we'll end up making our own.
Each individual build is in a secured area, especially things that haven't been seen before, that are confidential. This is actually where they're doing the facelift on the #1 Bumblebee. It has the new modifications with the new hood. It actually has brand new wheels that'll be on it. It'll have a new front lower chin spoiler, which this is the new chin spoiler. It has the new aero scoops. It'll get a blackout treatment around the grill and around the mouth, as well as the new bow tie. The new Z28 hood is very significant, and because it has a large scoop on it. This is a concept Corvette that has never been seen by the world and is fairly top secret from GM. They gave Transformers the approval to use this body in the new Transformers movie. What we need to do is take it from a model and turn it into a functioning vehicle. And we actually used a 1999 Corvette chassis that will be used for the drivetrain for this concept vehicle. These are some of the Hummer HX fiberglass parts. As you can see, they've already been put in prime, they've already been trimmed, and most of them have been fit. This is actually one of the tracks, it's one of the twins. And this will be a candy tangerine orange color with carbon fiber wrapping on it. They're currently checking the fits on the doors. What you're actually looking at right now are 2 of the tracks interior dash panels, which Al is taping up. These are actually the HT3 pickup boxes waiting to go into paint. We actually have the window tinting going on. Over here we have the roof radar units, door panels for the tracks and the beat, tracks interior dash panels, inner fenders and exterior fenders for the HX concepts.